Jack, do you put tomato ketchup in the fridge or in the cupboard?
I am a cupboard person, Tom. What about you?
I'm a fridge person.
Okay.
I mean, I know what that says about me, and now I know what that says about you.
Well, that's scary. That's very sinister. What about chocolate?
Chocolate I keep in my face.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
For the briefest of times, it goes in the fridge. Where do you keep it?
I am a fridge person. I was raised by wolves, I was about to say.
Those special wolves that keep chocolate in the fridge.
Yeah. But I know everyone frowns at that and everything, but I just like chocolate cold, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Nothing wrong with cold chocolate. Hit us in the comments below where you put the chocolate and the sauce in the fridge or the cupboard. It's a Wednesday. We've run out of stuff except wrestling news. We have the backstage reason for the Retribution split from Fastlane. Also, we have an update on an absent SmackDown star. And some good news. A popular AEW star has returned to social media. Find out who in a bit. Retribution is over, but not in the way that you think. It was on Sunday that the group officially broke up by the looks of things, but we've dug a little bit into the reasoning as to why Retribution finally called time. And Wrestling Inc. have the answer, I think, Jack, don't they?
So they partly have the answer, but then it's been cleared up a little bit. So I'll get through it. Wrestling Inc. is saying that Ali tore his PCL against Ricochet on the December 28th episode of Raw and has been working through the injury. But while he continued to carry on wrestling, his leg locked up during the Royal Rumble, and then he would go on to have an MRI done, and it was revealed that he would need to undergo surgery/rehab. This is what Wrestling Inc. is saying anyway. Someone pitched an idea that if Ali was willing to work through the injury, there would be a big blow-off with the group at WrestleMania, but WWE eventually changed course and did the split last night at Fastlane instead. Now, if that's true, then I think that's really bad, because they've basically said, oh, if you work through the injury, there'll be a big payoff at WrestleMania, and then they've gone, actually, it's not WrestleMania, it's just a Fastlane. If that's true, then that's I'm really, really sad about that. But last night, Ali tweeted to clear some confusion, I'm not getting surgery in the foreseeable future, I'll be okay, thanks. So I don't know what's going on, really.
I have a theory on why the plans have changed.
Okay.
And it's to do with the tag team titles. So we saw at Fastlane Retribution basically ending with the and had they done that angle at WrestleMania, I think it would have been too similar to something that I think they're planning to do with AJ Styles and Omos.
Oh.
Because I get the vibe from Raw where sort of New Day were planting the seeds about, hey, Omos, AJ's not really a friend. I don't know whether we're going to see Omos just drop AJ Styles like a hot plate over WrestleMania. And I think to have an angle where like disgruntled leader belittles other person until they attack him, it's too similar to... You couldn't do that twice, which is what they wanted. And so I think that's why they've done it at Fastlane. They kind of wanted to do it in a significant way, and I guess doing it on pay-per-view is the way to do it. I don't know what happens with Retribution from here. I mean, it was probably the coolest thing they've done since their debut, to be honest with you. And it's been so stop and start, but. Top marks to Ali and Riddle, who before that turn at Fastlane, I think had the best kickoff show match I've ever seen.
They had a really good match, didn't they? I mean, it could therefore be argued that maybe they should have been on the main show, especially because it was the title match. But, it was they still did well. Still did
really, really well. So, I mean, Ali apparently carrying on working through this injury, but them still keen to separate Retribution, and we'll see where they go from here. A star absent from SmackDown we have an update on now. Lots has been said and nothing has been seen about Aleister Black for quite some time. Ever since he turned up on the SmackDown roster, he's kind of faded more and more into obscurity. And during the Q&A portion of the Wrestling Observer radio show, Dave Meltzer was asked about the current situation with Aleister Black. And Dave Meltzer said, quote, that he is dealing with some minor injuries. Didn't go into details as to what they might be, but it might explain why we haven't seen him. I think you and I, Jack, and many others thought there was something more to this than just he's injured.
Well, I think Meltzer himself has previously reported that he's stuck in catering, basically. He's not being used. Creative has nothing for him. All the cliches. That's what Meltzer's also been saying about Aleister Black, among various other people. So I think maybe that's true. Maybe at the moment he is indeed dealing with some minor injuries, but I don't think that takes away from the wider point that really WWE should be able to find something to do with someone as talented as Aleister Black.
Could you see Aleister Black maybe moving down to NXT? I say moving down. It's a cross, isn't it? Lest we forget.
Yeah.
Moving across to NXT to sort of reignite that fire.
Possibly. I can't quite work out because we've seen it with the likes of obviously Finn Balor and Breezango, but I can't work out the process by which it happens, because surely you'd imagine a lot of ex NXT / main roster stars would quite enjoy going back down to NXT. So I don't know what the process is, but it could. I mean, I'd be in favour of it, definitely.
To kind of paraphrase something that Paul Heyman said in 2005, I feel like a lot of people soon are going to want to work Tuesdays because NXT could be on the move. What's the latest from PW Insider on this then, Jack?
They are saying that they've heard from multiple sources that WWE's production schedule for the month of April, that very packed production schedule, Tom, by the way, now lists NXT for Tuesdays every week post-WrestleMania weekend. The first episode will be on the 13th of April following WrestleMania 37, and every Tuesday thereafter it's going to be airing on Tuesdays. Unless there are plans, say PW Insider, to run a replay the day after, the move effectively leaves AEW Dynamite alone on Wednesdays. So it'll be interesting to track what the viewing patterns for each show will be once they separate. Will they increase, or will the lack of competition, cause enthusiasm to dip? There's a lot of interesting questions that we're going to get the answers to. And also, PW Insider point out that this move would put Impact Wrestling opposite NXT, so expect Access TV to shift Impact to Thursdays so that it remains unopposed. Because as much as Impact has improved recently, I don't think they're quite at the stage yet where they can go toe-to-toe with NXT.
No, they're not looking to start that fight. They want a night that's their own. And you know what? Moving to Thursdays, I think, would be great. And it would suit them, I think, still. They could keep the ball rolling from Dynamite and still do stuff there. I think that works quite nicely. The other one that I thought of was, and I'm gutted because we're talking about this apparent impending move to Tuesdays for NXT. NWA Power came back last night.
Yeah.
The Power came back on. And it was a wonderful show on Fight. And now it lives on a Tuesday where NXT may be going. But I think it's going to work out all right. It's going to work out all right because their timings on this are really good. Like, for example, on Sunday, we had Back for the Attack, NWA Power's return pay-per-view, and it finished just as the kickoff show for Fastlane was starting. So, that's nice. And with Power starting at 6:05 Eastern every Tuesday, you could squeeze in NWA Power before NXT. You get the best of both worlds, to quote Hannah Montana close to her anniversary. Yeah. If you haven't watched it yet, and I, this to me is a big sign of the world returning to normal. NWA Power's back on. That to me fills me with joy. It's great. It's a great little show. Please tell me you've watched a bit of NWA Power, Jack. If you haven't, we're going to fall out.
Oh, I have, definitely, but I've not caught up with the most recent episode or the pay-per-view yet. But don't worry, Tom. Don't worry.
Good. If you've not been keeping up with Ring of Honor, they've got some injury woes of their own. Ring of Honor TV champion and one half of the Ring of Honor tag team champions, Dragon Lee, has suffered a broken eardrum. This means he is off this Friday's pay-per-view, the 19th anniversary of Ring of Honor. This is gutting because he was set to do double duty. He was going to defend the TV title against Tracy Williams, and then he and Kenny King were going to defend the tag titles against Williams and Red Titus. They found a very creative solution. Kenny King is now doing the double duty. So Kenny King is going to defend the TV title on behalf of Dragon Lee against Tracy Williams. And then for the tag title match, Kenny King will be teaming up with Bestia del Ring, which is Dragon Lee's dad.
Wow.
to face off against Williams and Ret Titus instead. Very nice, creative way of solving that one. A couple of other feature matches from Ring of Honor's 19th anniversary, just to keep across from them. We'll see Jonathan Gresham defending the Pure Championship against Dak Draper. We're going to see Jay Briscoe facing EC3 in a grudge match. And some of the promo videos these guys have been doing have been chef's kisses to all of them. Excellent work. And in the main event, Roosh defends the ROH World title against Jay Lethal. There's some decent, and there's other matches in there as well. I've just given you a little peppering of it, but lots going on in Ring of Honor. It does feel like wrestling is it's like watching animals return to the grass, to the field after a rainstorm. It feels like life is starting again, doesn't it, Jack?
It definitely does. I just want to say though that dragon knee injury, a broken eardrum, that's one of those injuries that I just never want that. It just sounds really nasty. Hopefully he's okay. He's one of my favorite luchadors in the world, along with Phoenix possibly. Excuse me. I think he's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully he's back at it soon.
Every doctor in the world will tell you that, yes, a broken eardrum does sound nasty, Jack.
Oh, I didn't even mean that.
I see what you did there, cowboy.
No, I didn't even do it.
That sort of banter you can expect from @JackTheJobber on Twitter on a regular basis. Also, speaking of Twitter, we end on Maki Ito. She's back on socials, Jack. We were a bit nervous that she disappeared, weren't we?
Yeah, basically after she appeared in AEW, that obviously put her on a bigger platform. And as we all know, when you appear on a bigger platform, that exposes you to a larger audience. And the larger audience means that there'll just be a higher chance of people not being very nice. Yeah, being essentially. Now, obviously, a lot of people were worried that she deleted her Twitter because of this, or were relieved for her, perhaps, that she deleted her Twitter because of this, if that was the best way for her to deal with it. But instead, she returned to Twitter saying that she was hacked, and a lot of the messages she said she previously shared were deleted by the hacker. She said, all the memorable tweets were erased. Tweets are fine, but I can't forgive them as the same person. When you wake up in the morning, soak up the sun, and get out and move as much as possible. If you eat and sleep properly and still get sick, look at Ito's wrestling. There are many more fun things in this world than hacking. Now, I don't quite understand what she means, but it sounds uplifting and it sounds positive. And it's good to see her back on the platform. She's very, very funny on there.
Absolutely. And I think that the sage words of Maki Ito, we cannot top. So this is where we part. Later on today on the Cultaholic podcast feed, a brand new episode of Desert Island Graps featuring Faye Jackson, the founder of the Grey Sweatpants Invitational, coming up at WrestleMania week as part of GCW's The Collective. She's challenged Big E to a dust-up in a Costco parking lot in Tampa.
Yeah, I heard this. That's really good. Imagine if Big E showed up. I mean, he wouldn't be allowed to, but imagine if he did.
We talk about it later on the podcast feed. And also, Faye Jackson picks 3 wrestling matches he'd watch on a desert island. Podcast feed. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. Listen with your ears, unless you've got a broken eardrum. Stay safe and love you. Bye.